Warning: the program you are about to hear may contain adult language and subject matter. It is not intended for anyone under 18 years of age and whom is not mature. All views and opinions expressed within are solely those of this program's host, co-host, and guest. They are not intended to reflect those of any other persons or organizations, past or present. All subject matter discussed is not intended to be taken seriously and is only meant for entertainment purposes only. It's The Rant. Talk, radio, movies, sports, television, religion, politics, news, life, whatever the host wants to talk about, that's what we'll talk about here on The Rant. And now here is your host, the one and only, the living legend, the very controversial, the voice of the voiceless, Big DC.
Welcome everyone to the Rant. Thank you. Yes, welcome to the Rant. I am your host, the Big DC. Tonight's episode is entitled Drones and More. We're actually going to talk about the drone strikes that's been reported on the news lately, how Obama ordered drone strikes using, automated or remote controlled drones, and how they killed 3 Americans in the process. Now, first of all, before we start or go any further, let me say this one more time. I am not, nor have I ever been, an Obama supporter. I am not on the left. I am not a Democrat. I am not a liberal. I am also not on the right. I am not a Republican. I'm not a conservative. I am an independent. If I had to be classified, I would have to say I'm an independent. Now, if I had to lean left or right, I would probably say I lean more towards the Republicans, but I am truly an independent. So with that out of the way, I will be opening up the phone lines and the Skype lines tonight. I asked you to wait to call in until I tell you that I'm opening them up. So wait, please. And stay on topic. If you stay on tonight's topic, I'll let you speak. If not, I'll cut you off. Plain and simple. And be respectful. But anyways, getting back to the subject. We've all heard the news, the president, the White House has released, the documents to the Security Council of Congress on how Obama ordered drone strikes and it killed 3 Americans. Now, I thought about that all week long. Does the president have the power to use automated drones or, remote-controlled drones during these type of attacks? Well, we had no problems with it when it was strictly against Al-Qaeda, people that definitely were not U.S. citizens, that we knew that for a fact. We had no problems with it. We supported it. But then all of a sudden, he uses these unmanned drones against Americans and kills them. Now, the question you have to ask yourself, and people are getting outraged about it. I mean, Democrats and Republicans both are getting outraged about it. But here's the question you got to ask yourself. Well, before I get that, they're actually saying it's unconstitutional. They're saying it goes against the 4th, 5th, 6th, and I believe it's the 10th Amendment of the Bill of Rights. Let me double check that. No, excuse me, the 4th, 5th, and 9th Amendment of the Bill of Rights. I'm not going to teach you the Bill of Rights. That's not that's not my place. You look up the Bill of Rights. You can look up those. 4th, 5th, 6th, and 9th Amendment to the Bill of Rights. But here's what you got to understand. And here's what I thought about. These 3 Americans, or call them what you want, they started working with Al-Qaeda and all these other terrorist groups. That is basically saying to the world that they are renouncing their U.S. citizenship, that they are no longer part of the United States, that they're no longer a U.S. citizen. That is their public announcement. Whether they came out and flat out used the words, I'm no longer a U.S. citizen, they are doing it by working with Al-Qaeda, by attacking America, by attacking the U.S. and U.S. interests, attacking U.S. people. That's their way. That's their way of renouncing their U.S. citizenship, saying they are no longer U.S. citizens and should not be classified as such. Now, you got to understand. You say the president needs to protect the American people, and he's not doing it. He's not protecting the Constitution. He's not upholding it. Well, he took an oath. Every president takes the oath, and part of that oath says that they solemnly swear to uphold the Constitution and the rights of the people, and to protect the United States against all enemies, foreign, folks. And get ready. Here's the key word here. The key words, 2 words, and domestic. That's right, foreign and domestic. So yes, he used unmanned drones, and he killed 3 people who were U.S. citizens, but because of their actions, renounced their U.S. citizenship. As I said, I've thought about that all week long. And they do. They have renounced their U.S. citizenship. They are no longer protected by the United States Constitution. And according to his oath of office, according to what he swore to, Obama is upholding the Constitution. He is protecting the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic, using everything within his power to do so with these unmanned drones. Think about the lives that he saved by using unmanned drones, going after these 3. Countless. It could have been anywhere from 10, 20, 50, 100, who knows, even more lives that he saved by using unmanned drone attacks on them. You got to understand, these terrorist groups are not like it's not like fighting a conventional war, where both sides agree to certain rules and we don't go beyond those rules. Terrorists do not agree to any rules. They are very unconventional, and because of that, you cannot fight a conventional battle against them. You have to be unconventional yourself. You have to go outside of the norm to fight them. Using unmanned drones is one of the ways. And when you got 3 people who were former U.S. citizens, and they're aiding and assisting these terrorists, they are renouncing their U.S. citizenship by doing so, you strike at them. As I said, I'm not an Obama supporter in any way, but I am a supporter, repeat, I am a supporter of the President of the United States, the presidency of the United States. It just so happens Obama is that president right now. So I'm going to support this. I'm going to stand behind it and say yes. According to the Constitution, his presidential powers, the commander-in-chief of the U.S. military, of our armed forces, he has these powers to use these weapons to protect us, to protect these people, the United States citizens and the United States, from all enemies, foreign and domestic. So, yes, I do believe he is within the rights, within his responsibilities and powers as President of the United States to use unmanned drones against former United States citizens who have renounced their citizenship with the United States by their actions. And they are no longer under the protection of the United States Constitution. No longer are they under the same rights as any other citizen of the U.S. because of them renouncing it by their actions. We have to understand that our actions have consequences. These 3 people fully understood that. They completely understood that. It's just like when Thomas Jefferson and George Washington and Benjamin Franklin and all those guys, when they formed the United States, when they declared, independence against England, they did not say that we're no longer British subjects. They just declared their independence. It was a foregone conclusion that they were no longer part of Britain, without actually saying we're no longer part of it. They were saying they were independent without saying we are not British. We are not British subjects. They declared their independence. Now, that's not the same thing here with these terrorists. These terrorists are not declaring anything independent of any kind. They are just simply terrorists trying to kill Americans and other people from other nationalities around the world. And the United States is striking back, something we should have done probably 20 years ago or more. I fully support the president in his actions using unmanned drones. I think it was a great decision. Did he have to release this information to Congress? I don't believe he did. I don't believe it was necessary. You got to understand, as the president of the United States, this man is privy to information that if it got out, could harm more Americans than you could imagine. It could harm our country. That is why he does not tell the things he knows. You have to understand that. He knows more things, more secrets than we would ever hope to know. And this is a man who will take those secrets to the grave with him when he dies. Yes, he shares it between other former presidents and the people on his staff, but they take these things to the grave with him. They just don't tell the general public because it can harm the general public. There are people out there that would use this information to harm the United States and its citizens. So using unmanned drones against former U.S. citizens, who are no longer, and I'm not even going to call them U.S. citizens, I'm going to call them, what's the word I'm looking for? People that turn their backs on the U.S., who are now whatever they are. They're terrorists. It is perfectly within the responsibility and powers of the President of the United States to do so. So instead of coming down on Obama for it, congratulating for doing something in the fight in the war against terrorism, I do congratulate him on that. I do. I congratulate him. Now, for all you people out there that think Obama did not have the right to do this, I mean, granted, yes, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not going to try to stop you from having it. That's the thing. We're all entitled to our opinions, flat out. We really are. But know this. Know this. You are living in fantasy land. You're living in fantasy land, folks. You got to get out of it. Plain and simple. You are. There are people, I guarantee you, here on Spreaker right now, who's looking at these drone strikes, these doom and gloom naysayers here on Spreaker, and it's the Nick Larsons and the Wayne Pierces and the Brian Kellers, Just PK. They're all going to tell you, well, this is Obama's way of trying to control U.S. citizens and all this, or it's just going to lead up to Obama trying to control U.S. citizens. And once again, these are people living in fantasy land. So don't listen to that nonsense, seriously. But, yeah, like I said, I believe personally Obama acted within the responsibilities and the rights and the powers within the presidency of the United States to do what he's done with these unmanned drones, these strikes on these former, which are now current terrorists of the U.S. And that's what he has to do. He has to continue the fight. He has to. And for all those naysayers and them doom and gloom that says Obama's trying to control you and got proven wrong, hey, too bad. Hey, you got to understand, you've been proven wrong.
Nobody knows where my Johnny has gone.
Okay. Yes, Obama has acted within his rights and responsibilities and his powers of the president. I really do believe that. I really do. But yeah, it's just this job that Obama has as being president is so hard. We shouldn't be trying to tear the man down. I mean, if you don't like his policies and you think they failed, say it. Say, I think they failed. Don't try to preach this, he's doing illegal things and it's not constitutional and he doesn't have the right. Because he's not. He's not doing something illegal. He's doing everything within the rights and responsibilities, within the powers of the presidency of the United States. It's all within legal realms. Maybe you don't like the policies? Well, guess what? He won't be around